What's more valuable, $500,000 in cash or a meal seasoned with the wisdom of a luminary? This is the tantalizing question that sparked the birth of a groundbreaking show, Lunch with the Luminary.
Today's on-location episode of Lunch with a Luminary here at InvestFest 2024. I told you guys I'm going to bring you the best of the best, and I was able to snag the amazing, the incomparable Ray Daniels here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm happy to be here. Lunch with a Luminary.
And you're the luminary, for the record.
A luminary?
You are a luminary.
I'm about to ask you what's the definition, because I want to be educated.
So you are a thought leader in your space, someone that folks can look up to.
Yeah.
You are an exemplar for others.
Thank you.
You're a brain trust for folks to tap into. So that's why I wanted to make sure that the folks in Business Boost Society had the benefit of hearing your wisdom.
So luminary is kind of like illuminating, like
right, illuminating with your intellect and your experience.
By the
and
way,
your
I'm
ideas.
only doing that because I want people that's watching to know that it's okay to ask questions.
Absolutely.
You don't always have to know all the answers. I really didn't know what it meant, but when you start talking, I'm like, and I saw the light, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what it is.
Exactly.
I just like to learn. How you
told
doing
them how
today?
fancy we feel.
Well, let's do
how
this.
Fancy.
We're having tea time in the middle of a convention center. Who can do that?
Exactly. Only us. That's why.
Nobody can pull it off but me and you, so we pull it up. Let's go.
Do it. So there are a lot of people. So we have different neighborhoods in our community, and within those neighborhoods, it's based on sector. Entertainment, music is a big sector, but it's not easy, and it's not an easy field. So what's just one thing that you would have just in your experience, and we'll start going into some of that, but what's something you would share with some of the entrepreneurs who are looking to pursue business in the entertainment field?
How you do one thing is how you do everything. But most of the time, the mistakes we make is because it's like, you know, it's like music is like food, right? So let's say you want to start a restaurant, right? You got to ask yourself, does it taste good to you first, right? Then you say, well, it tastes good to me. Then you give it to somebody else. The music business has convinced you that our taste is the only taste that matter. And then now the doors open up and distribution comes, and now everybody can get on. And now, to be honest with you, some of the music don't taste as good as it used to, but that's because we let everybody in. But that's not for you to focus on. Don't focus on what the industry thinks. Focus on what you think. It's like when you open a restaurant, you're not worrying about what the world thinks. You're worrying about what your customer thinks. So focus on building your audience and you'll be fine. A lot of people, that's kind of why I started talking. So many people want to be in the music business and they would give me power. And they'd be like, what do you think? And I'm like, why does it matter what I think? What do you think?
And what does the audience think? I love that you say that, because even here in InvestFest, when people are looking to make investments, they want the next thing. They say, hey, what should I invest in? They say, well, what do you buy? What products do you like? Because if you like the product or you like the service, I guarantee you somebody else would. So I love that advice.
Yeah, because you know, like as a black man that came from nothing and didn't have anybody to really invest in me or teach me, and for me to end up where I am, the least that I could do. Well, I'm about to give myself too much credit. I remember praying to God that if you give me an opportunity, I won't be like these guys that hold information. Because what do you hold information for?
How old were you when you made that prayer?
22, 23. My father just died. I wanted to be in the music industry. I was trying, and I remember like knocking on doors, and it was kind of like you knock on the door and you hear him close it, and then you hear him laughing at you. And it was like, damn, like I'm only here trying to get money to feed my family, and y'all treat me like almost like a joke. So, it ain't a joke.
Right.
Like it's fun. I love doing it, but it's not a joke when my mother was driving school buses making $1,900 a month and didn't know that one day her son is going to be a multi-millionaire. She's never going to have to work again. And now she lives in a mansion and drives a Range Rover and everything. And that's because of hip hop. That's because of music. So, and I'm a great person because of it. So I want to help the world be better. I want to show people to be better. I don't want to be the guy that's like, haha, I'm rich and you're not. Nah,
right.
Man, I want us to be better.
I love it. So in the spirit of sharing that wisdom and not gatekeeping, I have a son who's super interested in the music production industry. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes it frustrates me because I'm like, make sure you're focusing on your schoolwork, on all the other opportunities, because it's not easy.
Yes.
I don't want to quell his excitement and enthusiasm, but it's also important to make sure that you're planning for the whole opportunity within music and not just looking at someone with nice jewelry, nice cars and saying,
I could do that all. I want to be
right.
for that reason.
Right. So how did you approach it and what do you recommend for people?
Well, I would tell your son, he wants to be a producer.
He said he wants to be in music. How many times do you hear that? I want to be in music.
I would tell him, pick a job that AI can't do for you. Because production, songwriting is in a really dangerous space right now because, now mind you, if someone gets it right with AI, we're all in trouble.
I was just gonna say, what do you think AI can't do? It can write, it can record, it can produce, it can edit.
It can say I love you, but it can't make you feel like I love you. You feel me? That comes from human. I could read the words I love you, but if I don't say it in a way that makes you feel it, you're not gonna believe it. So AI can't master the emotions of humans, but it can get close.
Right.
And if these kids don't know what's like, it's like if these kids don't know what's better, they're not gonna be able to know the difference.
Right.
So it's in a very dangerous place in music, but I would tell him, create your own ecosystem. Like if you're a producer, what does a producer need? An artist. So don't go out here trying to chase and chase and chase. Build and build and build. Like every artist that broke in the game building, not chasing. So I would just tell them, don't chase, build. Like stay where you are, believe in what you do, and build. And now you can build from the comfort of our own homes, like we are right now.
Right. No, that's great. That's great advice. And everybody wants to say, I make beats and I can rhyme. So let's get together. But to your point, the industry's changing. Yes. It's not what it used to be.
But it's a lot. A lot of people want to do this, man, and it looks fun. And if you're gonna do it, like I'm on year 20. January 2005 will make my 20th year in the music business.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And what I will say to anybody is that enjoy the ride, but don't forget you power the ride. Don't forget, like, party all night, but you better wake up and have that same discipline to do the job, because as fun as this is, I treat it like a business now. And I've always done that, but I understand the mistakes I made was I enjoyed it a little too much. Right. I had to learn the other things that keep you here, because you're not going to be the same age forever. Right. And everybody has to evolve in their position. Like Michael Jordan couldn't dunk on everybody in his second run, so he had to work on that post-move jump shot, and that's why he's there. So you got to just always care about developing yourself. Self-development is the most important thing that all of us can do. That's why I wanted to talk to you, because I see you have a self-development community, and I know they think they're there to learn how to get the money and all that other stuff, but the money comes when you become who you need to become. I don't even chase money. I wake up in this, my problem is that I have too many opportunities coming my way to make money. So
wait, slow down. You have too many opportunities coming your way to make money. Unpack that.
Okay, so look at it from this standpoint. I am in the top 3% in music. Songwriter of the Year, which is the most prestigious award an individual can get, that with a pen, I was on the stage because my guy won it. I also was Podcast of the Year. So I'm in media in the top 3%, and I'm in music in the top 3%. So for me, when I was just on the phone with a famous friend, and he called me to ask me to do one thing, and was like, Ray, I need your help. I want you to help somebody that I know. And then I start talking, and then like 15 minutes into the conversation, he starts saying, man, I think I might need you to help me.
Wow.
And then like 40 minutes into the conversation, he was like, man, I might need you to help the entire company, because it's layers to this. And I've been so dedicated to it that I can show you how to build a #1 podcast, but I can show you how to build a #1 artist. But I also can show you how to build a business, because it's all the same. Right. Our problem is that we care about it, right? It's like women, right? You're a beautiful woman, by the way. I'm not trying to, but you're a beautiful woman, right? So I'm pretty sure a man doesn't mean as much to you, because it's like, I'm a beautiful girl. Everywhere I go, somebody's telling me I'm a beautiful girl and trying to get at me.
For the record, don't listen to him. If you are a good-looking, productive man,
look what you just did.
Call me.
Look what you just did.
Don't listen to him.
You just gave the layers. See what you just did? You gave the layers, but you gave the layers because you can afford to. Right. So you can afford to give the layers because you have the luxury of being a beautiful woman, right? So what I say to anybody is, be the beautiful woman in your business. Because the beautiful woman doesn't have to ask anybody about her drink. She doesn't walk in the club and say, who's going to talk to me, because she's beautiful. So instead of focusing on men, why don't men want me? Why don't men focus on you?
Right.
So instead of focusing on why labels don't want me, why this, then focus on you. Instead of focusing on why people ain't supporting my business, focus on you.
But Ray, in our community, we talk about the whole entrepreneur. So we don't just talk about growing and scaling a business.
Sure.
We talk about growing and scaling the entrepreneur, the CEO. You're talking about honing someone's skills, but you have to have the emotional intelligence to be able to introspect and figure out, here's what I'm good at, here's where I'm challenged, and this is the area that I want to step up my game. You have to know enough and be vulnerable enough to do that.
But guess what? You just gave the answer. You just gave the answer to the whole problem.
I hear you.
Focus on your emotional intelligence. Because when I wanted to be somebody, I was a loser my whole life. The first half, I'm 44 years old.
Don't say that.
No.
I was a loser my whole life.
The first half of my life, I was a loser. And the next 3 years of my life, I was trying to figure out how to win.
Okay,
and then
fair
starting
enough.
at 25, I became a winner.
Okay.
I'll be 45 in January. 20 years of winning. But I had to recognize I was a loser.
Okay.
And guess who taught me I was a loser?
Who's that?
A beautiful woman. She said, you cute, but you don't want none out of life. And I could have easily been like, I'm not, but I was like, I was emotionally intelligent enough to accept that she wasn't lying. I am a hoop dreamer. See, that was the word she used me. I am a hoop dreamer. And I didn't want to be a hoop dreamer no more. So at that moment, I have a choice. I can keep hoop dreaming, or I can go work on my game.
Right.
So then when I go work on my game, what do you have to accept? What am I good at and what am I not good at? So I had developing yourself.
Right.
When I sat down, they said, we're going to talk about this. I said, I don't care what we talk about. We can have a conversation about anything, because I've developed myself so much. I spent so much energy on making myself better that it doesn't matter what the person on the other side
So
takes.
you have the business agility to be able to have a conversation across different topics because you have the fundamentals. What I'm hearing you say is that you have the framework, whether you're developing an individual, developing a person, developing a community.
It's all the same.
Gotcha.
It's removing yourself, right? It's removing yourself, because that's what the main problem is. It's why are they talking that about me? Because now you're personalizing. Now you're saying, I'm a good person. I'm a this. Notice what I said, a beautiful woman, right? What did a beautiful woman say? Don't listen to him. If you got this and this, so she then the layers on that matter.
Right.
Not any man.
Right.
You got to be productive. So you add the layers, but you added the layers that you added, because you've done that to yourself. So you just asking someone to meet you where you at. So instead of worrying about where you at, I need to worry about where I'm at, and then hopefully we meet at the right moment, and then that's when God enters. We're all on God's timing, but He's waiting on you to show up for you first so he can show up for you. That's why.
So when did you've been super successful in your career. And everybody measures success differently, so don't take this wrong. But you worked with Lizzo, you worked with Usher, you worked with Beyonce, you worked with name it, all these people. When was enough? From a monetary standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint, from this is who I want to work with aspirationally? When did you know, hey, I've arrived and I have enough? Or have you?
If I stop working today, I'm straight. If I stop working today, I'm straight. I think I paid all my houses off. My mom's house is paid off. I think I'm straight. It's funny because when I turned 40, I closed a deal that put me in a position where I could retire. And I announced my retirement to my family. I gave them $100,000. And then I said, now I'm coming back out of retirement, because now I'm going to do it for the world. Because as a man, we be so worried about, it's like layers to it. It's like I want to be a husband. I want a wife. I want kids. Well, you got to be ready first. So it's like, I want to change the world. Why you want to change the world when you ain't changed your life first? So I had to change my life. Then I had to change my life. Then I had to see if that worked. Then it's like, damn, okay, I'm making enough money. Mine, you can retire. Okay, cool. House is this. So then I got to this place where I was like, I personally have enough.
Right.
I have enough for all of us. But there's a kid out there just like me that wasn't lucky enough to have me as a father. There's a person out there like me that was lucky enough, and now I want to go help them. So then I said, put a camera on me. And I do exactly what I did for everybody else, and then I go #1 on my podcast. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So we be so focused on it. So it's like, you can say this food not good for me, or you can say something like, I was referencing a man, because if you care about a man, if that's what you want, then it becomes, why don't a man want me? But if you treat a relationship like you treated your business, and treated your family like you treated your business, everything has to rise to your level. Now you don't compromise nowhere, but we usually compromise where we care. We usually compromise where we care. So I'll tell my son, I remember my son, he's 15, shout out to little Raymond. I said, I want you to be happy to be my son, but I don't want you to act like you're my son. And he was like, what do you mean, Dad? Like, what does that mean? I said, I want you to be happy you're my son, but you can't act like you're my son.
Right.
Because if you act like you're my son, you're gonna walk in the room and be like, I'm Ray Daniel's son, so.
Entitlement.
Boom. So he was like, so you want me to be your son? I said, I want you to work, because I said, I don't even enjoy being me. If I was proud of being me, then I wouldn't be working hard to make a better version of me.
Right.
Daddy is working every day to better himself. Your job is to be better than Daddy. So you can't be proud to be Daddy's son. You got to be like, I'm my father's son, but I want to show my dad that everything he said to me, I listened and I learned. Because people are going to either see, oh, he's Raymond's son. He don't want it. Nah, he want it. And I said, your job is to do that, then tell your kids, because your grandfather's dead, but you never met him. But he wanted me to be somebody, so he died. He had to die for me to realize I need to do it. Wow. I don't want to die for you to wake up, son. Wow. I want to be here to see you do it. So I need you to wake up today. Wow. And my son has been like, I get it. So it's really just like, nobody owes anything. Donald Trump is the stuff right now because his family is this, but 50 years from now, it could be bad because his kids ran it into the ground. And then the Daniels can be that.
Right.
Sometimes we accept what the world told us we are, and we say, okay, I don't accept what the world tell me I am. I tell the world what I am. Right. And then the world says, okay, go get it, and then it repays me.
And I think it's your reputation. So you are leaving a legacy, and you're working on that on a daily basis, a legacy of impact, right? What you've achieved, you want to see other people achieve. I think Donald Trump has more to worry about when it comes to legacy and impact for his descendants, but that's a whole other podcast.
I'm gonna use his name because his name
recognize it with financial.
Was big enough where he could put it on buildings.
Right.
His name was big enough where he can now put it on the presidential ballot. All he has the cachet of the name. His son can destroy that. His grandson can destroy that.
He destroyed it.
Well, he is.
But I get where you're going. Yeah, we're on the same page.
Because a lot of us like to focus on what life is rather than what life can be. Life can be what we determine it to be, but then now we have to do the work.
Right, 100%.
And not expect anything in return. But watching it blossom slow.
So talk about that work that you're doing. So what's the new Ray in the community? How do you engage now with your art, with your passion, and with your philanthropy?
Well, what I did was, I always tell people, I'm like, take a pen and paper out and write down the character, right? So my name, I was born Ray Daniels, but I wrote down a character. The new character is Media Mogul Ray Daniels. So like, what's the difference between Ray Daniels and Media Mogul, right? Media Mogul has to move differently, so I write all the things that he has to do. So no more having bullshit conversations. No more, like, if I enter a room and the vibrations feel low, try to bring it up. If you can't bring it up, leave the room. Right? So all these things that the Media Mogul Ray do, and now I hold myself accountable to my own words.
You set boundaries.
My own words. I set the word. I wrote that down.
Wow.
Am I being that? So now I can look at myself and say, was I doing that at that moment? Nope. Or yes, now I can do more. So I always tell people, write the character down that you want to be and be that. It's like, and it's so easy. It's like you. What do you love about Oprah? I love that Oprah is this, and this. Be that then. What do you love about Beyonce? I love this, and this about her.
So find the best of what you see in people and those characteristics, synthesize that into what makes sense for you, and then hold yourself to it.
And so, for example, when we brought up Trump, you was like this, but I don't look at it like that. I looked at it like, I don't care what he did, because what he did is on him and his God. But I want to learn from what he did, because all he did was do wrong with what he did right. He did something right because we know his name, right? So in my mind, I'm like, so what I did was when I was like 22 years old, I wrote down 5 names. I can't remember all 5. I know I wrote down Spike Lee's name because I like Spike Lee is not afraid to say what's right. What's right in his eyes, so do the right thing. Malcolm X ain't popular, but y'all don't think he matters white America, but he matters to us, so I'm gonna raise money to do his movie. Spike Lee, I wrote down Puff. Puff was great at marketing Puff, right? And then I wrote down Dame Dash. Dame Dash was a leader of a man, and he told other men, this is how we're gonna move. And I couldn't remember the other names, but I wrote these names down, and I was like, I'm gonna just take the things from them that I like. See, sometimes we get so entrenched in who people are, we get lost and we lose ourselves. We like, no, but what did he do right though?
So you try to find the best parts of anybody that you encounter.
I see beauty in everything as long as they're not killing people or hurting kids or hurting people that are weaker than you.
Right.
I do my best to see the best. And I tell people, I'm like, stop falling in love with people that you don't know.
Right.
You are them. They came out of a woman just like you. They had insecurities just like you. They struggled just like you.
My father used to say, they pull their plants up just like I do.
Just like you. So instead of falling in love saying, wow, say, what do I like? The emotional intelligence again. What do I like about her? Well, I don't like that Oprah is not married. Okay, well, you don't have to. You can get married then.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't. What do you like about her? We always so focused on what's wrong when we should be focusing on what did they do right.
Right.
I never had someone put me to the side and say, you could be something. I just had to tell myself. So how did you know? My father died. When my father died, so the story goes really quick. I was trying to be in the music business. My father dies. When my father dies, I was working at Delta and September 11th happened. So Delta told everybody, go home, we don't have, the airline business is crashing. So I took that as a sign. Maybe this is a sign for me to go chase my dream. I went after my dream, and 4 months later, Delta called me back to work. I told Delta I can't come back because I'm taking care of my sick father. My father had HIV, and he was like, just telling me taking care of me. My father died from liver failure 2 months later.
Right.
Delta calls me to work. Now, I'm like, I'm trying, I'm in New York, I'm hustling, and now I gotta go back to work. And my mother told me, go back, because you're gonna be making $60,000 a year in 10 years. And it's a career, you have a 401k in Raymond, you can retire.
Steady job.
Like no, but it was like, that was better than her. She was right here, that was better than her. And I remember, I went back to work, and I worked for like 2 days, and then for some reason, losing somebody changes the fabric of who we are. And I remember saying, man, if Bill Cosby was my father, would people be telling me to go work at Delta? And then it hit me. The bar for myself has been set based on who my father was. I quit Delta right there on the spot. And I was like, I'm gonna set my own expectations of what the bar is for me. And I went off and did it. And I didn't know how, but I knew I wasn't afraid to ask questions. That's why I sit down and saying, what does that mean? I never was afraid, because asking questions make people feel almost comfortable coaching you now. It almost makes people like.
But you know what you realize? You didn't lie. Your bar is set by who your father is.
Yeah.
But it's your heavenly father, not your earthly father. And so if you limit yourself by your earthly father's performance, you're going to be, so you have shared an entire word.
Yeah, so for me, I think this was right around the time when Bill Cosby's son got killed. And I remember thinking, like, what was Bill Cosby's son doing on the side of the road changing a tire? Like, you Bill Cosby.
Right.
By the way, I make my son think like that.
Right.
Like, certain things have to be beneath you because you mean more to the world because of me. So I ain't saying don't change a tire if you want to, but sit on the side of the road and call roadside assistance, son.
Right.
I'm too rich for you to be outside the side of the road where somebody can.
Right.
I'm too rich for that. So for me, when I realized that, I was like, I really started living my life like Bill Cosby was my dad, and I can't be stopped. And I would go in rooms and I would ask questions, and then I started realizing it wasn't the people that was up that I had to be worried about. It was the people that was down, that was saying they ain't gonna care. Why you going there? And I'm like, let me try. And then it worked.
Right.
And then I left them behind. So for me, that little thing, and you know, a big thing in our community is black fathers being in the household. So how many young black men don't have a father in the household? So I said, I'm gonna become America's black father voice.
Okay.
That was my goal. Like, I'm gonna talk to us. I'm gonna say, I don't care how you feel about what I'm saying, because I've lived it and I know it's a fact.
Do you have an organization that you're doing this through that folks can access?
Well, I have a community, but I'm redeveloping it right now.
Okay.
I make a lot of money in music, and I'm in this place in my life where it's like, I've never worked this hard because In music, I make 7 figures a year. And in podcasts, I make 6. That 6 and 7 is a big difference. It's a big difference.
That 6 to 4 is a big difference.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, so for me, I just was like, so I'm building my media company and I'm reorganizing my team.
Okay.
And I feel like because I did right, God is sending the right people my way. So I'm gonna rebrand my community. I'm rebranding everything I'm doing, but I'm rebranding in real time to show people that you can do it in front of the camera and still do it.
Build the plane,
it's okay.
fix the plane while you're building
Don't worry about how it looks. Don't worry about who cares. When I started my pod, I did not know I would ever rank anything.
Right.
It wasn't even an option to me.
You were just doing it because you had the vision.
It needed to be done. So stop worrying about the outcome and do what needs to be done.
I love it.
They always say the difference between extraordinary and ordinary is just a little extra.
Yeah.
So just put some extra on it every day. If you work 3 hours a day for your dream, give it an extra hour.
And let that be your best extra hour.
Extra hour, and then it'll be fine. So for me, I'm really like developing my coaching system. I'm developing the product that I want to sell, because I never want to sell something that doesn't change lives.
I love it.
So for me, I'm like I said, it's like before I start going out there saying, oh, I got a little clout, look what I'm selling, I'm like, I don't want to just sell.
Build.
Let me figure out what I can do to help my people. And once I do that, because I'll die on a mountain doing that.
Well, Ray, I always say everybody's going after the bag, but nobody's trying to chase the bundle.
Yep.
And when I say the bundle, it's the spirit of collaboration.
Sure.
So while you are building your community, you are more than welcome in Business Boost Society to share all these nuggets of wisdom, because just like it resonated with me, I'm sure there are so many other people that this will resonate with. So
Anytime.
in the meantime, let's eat.
Let's go.
Okay.